picking on me. Now they're picking on me in the comments. We got a heck of a show for you guys today, live on Drag Illustrated's YouTube channel. We got Richard Freeman in the house, Mike Finnegan, and the one and only Chase Lautenbach right now today on the Wes Buck Show. Listen, I've never had any problem expressing my opinions, but what we're doing here is bigger than that. These are conversations that need to be had in an unfiltered way. Drag racing's all I've ever done. It's all I care to do. I respect the history, I appreciate how far we've come, but I want more for this sport, and I'll fight for it. It's uncut, it's unfiltered, this is the show of shows. The biggest names in drag racing. No holds barred. This is the great American motorsport, drag racing. Prove me wrong, I'll wait. Hey gang, Wes Buck here, Drag Illustrated Magazine, checking in. It is Wednesday. I can't hear myself, so it's throwing me off. It is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Hope you're doing well out there. Thank you, as always, for joining us here around Drag Racing's water cooler as we break down all the latest happenings, the biggest news and storylines in the sport of drag racing. We got a hell of a show for you guys today. In just a few short minutes, we're going to be joined by NHRA Pro Stock team owner, superstar Richard Freeman. We're then going to check in with Mike Finnegan, fresh off an A-Gas win during the Edelbrock Six Smokies event. And then we're going to round out the show with a conversation with Chase Lautenbach from Streetcar Takeover, who's going to be telling us about their 30,000 to win small tire shootout coming up at Nashville Motor Speedway. I love seeing these drag racing events pop up at these major circle track endeavors or event venues. I love seeing those kind of worlds collide, and it's cool to see those facilities being used for drag racing. But thank you guys all for joining us. Remember to click like, click share, and subscribe. Help us spread the gospel of drag racing and join the movement that we have created here at DI. We're celebrating 20 years of Drag Illustrated in 2025. Pretty excited about that. So anyways, before we get too much further along, let me introduce my co-host here on the show, Mike Carpenter, JT Hudson. What's up, boys?
What's up?
What's going on? I'm getting a notification that I think something may have happened at Maryland involving Jimmy Taylor. Should we find out? I'm just gonna call him. Let's put him on speaker.
Something new since yesterday?
Jimmy, you're live on the World Wide Web.
We just did it, man.
Okay, tell me more.
240.
You're shitting me.
Hold on, I'll send you the.
Yeah, send us the video, because now the video we had queued up is out of date now.
Yeah, because the video I had keyed up is out of date now. So we're reporting this. This is breaking news live on Drag Illustrated's
What's the incremental? The 1,000.
Okay.
338 with what?
338 with a what, Jimmy?
338 with a 7 at 240.29 mile an hour.
Holy shit! First in the 3.
Now pack it up, put it in the trailer.
What was the mile per hour?
240.27.
Holy moly. Do I dare ask, does this mean you're going to hold the pedal down for another second or two?
Yeah, we're definitely no doubt now. I mean, we know it's going to go $4.99 a quarter without a doubt, man.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, we will be here waiting with bated breath. Thank you for letting us know.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to run the quarter at the World Cup. I'm not going to run it.
Okay.
I'm going to run it at the World Cup.
Okay, perfect. Well, keep us posted. Let us know if anything else exciting happens, and I'll call you in like an hour and a half.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
Thanks, Jimmy. Talk to you in a few.
Damn.
There you have it, guys.
I thought that was a bit. I thought you already had that queued up for us.
I did too.
That wasn't a bit. So he called me this morning, or we were talking, and I said, when do you guys think you're going to run? And he's like, oh, it'll probably be, right around the time your show's starting, right before. And I said, okay, if something good happens, call me.
Excuse.
Yeah, if something happens that you want to talk about, call me, and we'll go hog wild with it. And There you have it, guys. 3.387, 240 miles per hour in the eighth of a mile. I mean, this is what I had planned to start the show with today, guys. So let's just, we might as well dive into this right now. I mean, I don't know that 330s were really on my radar, Mike.
No,
You?
I mean,
Crazy.
What was the previous record? 345
5,
with a 7?
7. Yeah.
Yeah, and we broke that yesterday. And we talked to him yesterday on the phone, and he was like, "Oh man, we're going 30s easy." So we talked about it a few weeks ago. Was it going to go? What was our bet? Oh, the bet was: is it going to go 4-second quarter or 300 miles an hour? I wonder what the projected speed is going to be if it goes a 4.99 in the quarter. That's going to be interesting to see. We'll have to wait till World Cup to see that. But man, the videos of this thing are just unreal. Also, let's play that video, even though it's slow now.
Yeah, I mean, this is
3:43.
To me, this is. I love the way Gary Cummins at that track channel put the date and time on there. Do you see it quiver the tires down
Yeah,
low?
like it drove through the shake. Yeah.
237 miles an hour. Another new world record for
Let's watch this one more time. You see it?
Yeah, they're chatted. Yeah.
3:43.0.
Holy moly, man.
I mean,
I got to tell you, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things that I think are important to note here. In that, first and foremost, if people had any idea what Jimmy Taylor has gone through over the course of the last month or so, he kind of put it into the atmosphere. And you guys know how I feel about speaking things into existence. Sometimes that's what's required. I know it takes some courage, and it takes some an ability to embrace failure or rejection, because when you start calling your shot, and that's what Jimmy Taylor did. He started saying, we want to set the record. Him, Carl Stevens Jr., that whole team, they sat out this fall, to reset the door slammer world record. And to me, I think that, they were met with some, easier said than done. And then they had some struggles. They went out a couple of times and weren't able to seal the deal, tore some stuff up. But this thing is in completely uncharted territory right now. You're talking about a combination that is 7,000 horsepower in the neighborhood in a door slammer, a twin turbo Hemi on methanol, making 7,000 horsepower. They are breaking things that they didn't know would break. They've got Rossler transmission on the property, literally servicing the transmission after every run. They've made a whole bunch of new parts and pieces that are one-offs specific for this project. They're trying to make things
up a lot
stronger.
of stuff that hasn't even. It's been tougher than I think. Yeah, it hasn't been publicized as they've been trying to do this. So it seems like it's been a relentless effort for a month now. They've been really after it. So, and this thing, we don't know exactly what it weighs. It's hundreds of pounds lighter than what we would call legal, or what Winter Series rules or Midwest or PDRA or anything would be. And who knows what else as far as the turbos and just everything. They're being pretty coy about, what is going into this thing, and rightfully so. So everyone, I've seen a lot of talk online about, the asterisks,
shut up.
Is it a record because it's at testing or whatever? But when you're literally just straight up setting the all-time door car record in ET and mile per hour, I don't think any of that stuff matters. Like, if we're going to classify it as a national record or a sanctioning body record or whatever, maybe that needs to be done in competition. But for this type of deal, there's like no disputing it.
Yeah.
To be honest, for one, first and foremost, this has been an issue or something that has been a talking point for 15 years now. For those that haven't followed along, Drag Illustrated maintains one of the most comprehensive record books in the history of drag racing. We have been monitoring the quickest and fastest passes amongst every drag racing eliminator, from rocket-powered motorcycle to Top Fuel and everything in between. And I would say amongst the most active lists that we've had with our DI Top 8 has been the door slammer categories, right? And we have long since recognized runs that are made in testing. I remember one that was an especially controversial one was when, I believe it's been many years ago now, but Vaughn Smith went bottom 570s in the quarter mile over in Qatar during a private test session. And there was hubbub about, that shouldn't be counted. If the track has a legitimate timing system and we have every reason to believe that the run is legit, we are going to recognize those records at Drag Illustrated. I don't care if NHRA does or IHRA does or PDRA does. We are going to recognize those records.
Yeah, and that was kind of the idea behind doing the top 8. And Brett Kepner, that was we had a discussion with him when he started doing it and maintains it that was the approach he wanted to take with it. And he gave us the reasoning behind that, much as you just said. And it definitely it's a different record set than, like you said, the official NHRA records, IHRA records. It melds all these together, and we've got several different categories that we almost break the stuff down into subcategories. So we have like a true outlaw door slammer record that this category or that this pass will fall under.
There it is, boys.
Oh boy, there it is
on the bright lights. Jimmy just sent me this across. We need to get a graphic going ASAP. You guys are going to have to hold down the fort while we get this rocking and rolling on social media. I'm going to need you guys to talk for a second so I can go make a graphic.
Yeah, I got a box to open anyway over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send that stuff over to Cody. Get him cranking on it.
Yeah, Cody, make me a graphic, boss.
Dana, it won't be the same trim for Winter Series. So
yeah, we don't know how far away it is from Winter Series, but it's quite far. But that, it's definitely a harbinger of things to come. I mean, obviously the turbo combination is powerful no matter what you do with it. And to see that just shows what it's capable of when it's unchained, but we do our best to try to chain it as much as possible and level the playing field with all the different combinations.
240 is as I mean, this whole situation is absolutely mind-blowing, to be honest. I don't know that we've ever seen this kind of movement on any of our top 8 lists. I mean, for over a year, nearly 2 years, right? Todd Moyer's 345 with a 7 stood tall at the top of that list. And then here this comes, and there's
been a lot of, it's been pretty stagnant on the top 8 throughout a lot of the categories.
Mm-hmm.
But as we get in the spring, and then of course, as we get to the fall and the end of the year, we start to see a lot of movement. That's why I actually just reached out to Brett Kepner a week ago and said, hey, this is our last issue of the year. We got about 2 or 3 weeks to get a top 8 together because we need to get one in there. It's been several issues since we put one in, because there's really no point in taking up that space if there's not a ton of movement. And so I think we're going to see quite a bit of movement in addition to this run that Jimmy Taylor just made.
You'd give that one a full page.
I mean,
that's 2 pages.
I know. I bet you got to give that by itself. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's going to get more coverage than just that.
Oh, I know, but pretty cool.
What a deal, man.
Looks like Richard's in the green room.
You got to make graphics, man. This thing's going to go. I mean, have you seen I've been blown away with how well those videes have performed on our social media page. I mean, they've got.
It's been fun to watch. Really
has been.
I mean, he's went out to, that's what he set out to do. And you got to follow along all the way. So, and he had to work at it. It wasn't easy.
No, absolutely.
Hell no,
man.
It would have really sucked though, really, actually, if he went out the first time and, clipped it. So.
No, I mean, you want the story to be there. That's what I told Jimmy, because I could tell he was getting a touch discouraged, because it wasn't happening quite like he thought it was going to. But I had to remind him, man, you are literally doing something that no one's ever done before. And I think it's going to, it's not going to happen, quickly, but this has happened way quicker than I forecasted happening. I mean, because even yesterday when I saw the 343 with a 0, any of us that are paying attention knows that, going out and running a 4 or a 342 would have been impressive, right? Just picking up a little bit, but to clip it by that kind of margin is absolutely unbelievable. And I just got a text message from Carl Stevens Jr. He says, trust me, we have more in the tank.
Woo.
So that's, holy moly, man. Tip of the cap to this whole team. Rewriting the record books, absolutely incredible. But I got to tell you guys, before we dive, we got a bunch of news to cover in today's show. One of the biggest storylines over the last several weeks, without question, has been the finally coming to fruition, Richard Freeman's long-standing plans to dive into the top fuel ranks, to dive into nitro racing. He announced the formation of Elite Motorsports alongside Tony Stewart Racing a few short weeks ago and announced that Tony Stewart, pending funding, would be the driver of the Elite Motorsports Top Fuel Dragster in 2026. Well, lo and behold, a few short weeks later, news breaks that R+L Carriers, a brand that has built a following in the sport of drag racing by way of Josh Hart, would be joining the Elite Motorsports operation in 2026 and serving as the primary sponsor of the Top Fuel Dragster that Tony would be driving. So without any further ado, let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend, one of our dear friends here at Drag Illustrated, the one and only Richard Freeman. What's up, boss?
Up, Biggie?
Well, looky there if it ain't my little gay buddies.
Hey,
That's
you
awesome.
can't say that. It's 2025. Well, it's Richard.
I can say
so
whatever I
we're
want
lucky.
to.
We're lucky
Yeah,
that it wasn't even worse
He
than
didn't hold
that,
his
right?
tongue.
Yeah.
I was just fixing to say you are lucky it wasn't worse than that.
Yeah.
You look like you're dressed to go hunting. Are you enjoying a couple of weeks off the
Are
grind?
you shitting me? I'm
thought
sitting at my desk.
Oh, I thought you were filming Tool Time Tim.
Listen, I think y'all are my last group to be given an interview. I'm so sick of talking I can puke.
Oh,
we're last. We're your
this is
favorites.
what
Yeah,
pisses
you know-
me off. I almost said, you know what? If Richard's going to go on all these other podcasts, we'll just forego it. But no.
Hey, just so you know, Wes, I get told what to do. You do know that, right? I mean,
I do know that.
I
do
was
know that.
talking to people I don't even know, which is
Oh, you
okay.
love doing that. Yeah, you love doing that.
Before we get off the phone, I got to show y'all something that just got delivered today.
Let's do it now.
Let me walk over here and show you guys this. This is. I'm going to flip this phone around. Let me see if I know how to do this. Yeah, here you go. So, Chad Wheeler
Let me put full screen on you here.
built this for me. This is a
Oh shit!
brand new sim.
Are you
so-
are you going NASCAR racing now too?
No, I don't even know how to operate this thing. but check this out. This guy, so he was just telling me he did a deal for Mahomes, and he did one for Travis Kelce, Motley Crue, of course, Tony and Leah. But isn't that cool?
That is.
I was about to say Tony will come over there and wear that thing out.
He's the one. So Tony comes up here, and I send him. We did that test deal with a pro stock car not too long ago. Well, this guy is from Oklahoma. Chad is. His family owns a company called Wheeler Metals. They're big into dirt car racing. He comes up, we meet, and so not only did it cost me to go testing with Tony, I end up buying this shit. So
I want one of those. So
I'm telling you that this guy is absolutely a badass, and so
send me his number. I would like. Yeah.
So here's what we're doing, guys. We're working on a drag racing deal.
Hell yeah!
He's all in on that. He believes that Dale Jr. And Tony can make that happen. I mean, it would be. I mean, you shift this thing, you do everything. It's cool. It's got 2 different steering wheels.
Dude, my son is into iRacing, Max,
Yep.
and I got him a cheap ass simulator compared to that thing, so I won't go walk you over into his room and show you. But it's badass. I can sit and make laps in those 410 sprint cars. It's like my favorite thing to do. I mean, It's so real. And I was talking to Brian Loans. Mike and I were talking to Loans about this just the other day. We've got to get drag racing and iRacing.
We got to do it.
We've got to do it. I mean, It is.
Is Chad going to be at PRI?
I don't know, but Wes, I'm gonna get you his number because you ought to have him come on your show.
Yeah, 'cause they have a whole
he's a
section
cool
at PRI now set up for that now. I mean, it's
they do.
Probably
If
sell the
you've been
shit out
over
of
there,
them.
it's awesome.
Yeah, I'll maybe Wes, me and you get him on the phone. He just left. I mean, they've been here all day. So
That's badass.
Well,
I was going to say, before we jump into the Top Fuel talk and everything, and while we're talking about this record run by Jimmy Taylor, have you seen this yet, Richard? He just went 338 at 240 miles an hour in a pro mod.
No.
Yeah, it
No,
just
he
happened.
better not have wings on that motherfucker. He'll be in the stall. Wow.
It's 338 with a 7 at 240. Obviously, this is a no rules deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like light as they can get it, big turbos and all this stuff, but absolutely fucking mind blowing. You know,
I'll get out of here so you guys can talk serious.
Okay. Bye, JT. Richard, I want to ask you, I don't know if you've got permission to talk about this, but you told me a story. And before we talk about the Top Fuel stuff, we all know and love Pro Stock, and it's kind of, you know, I believe it is the most difficult car to drive well in drag racing. We've seen that obviously be a difference maker in Pro Stock racing for a long time. But you told me a story. You mentioned Tony Stewart coming up to Wynnewood, hanging out, and you guys took him out. Would you talk about the experience that was Tony Stewart behind the wheel of a Pro Stock car? I mean, you told me like it was almost unbelievable. Just take us through that. Bring us up to speed. For those that don't know, a few months ago, Tony Stewart came up and Richard convinced him to try his hand in a Pro Stock car, and you take it from there.
Yeah, so him and Leah flew up to Tulsa, and so I had just a few of my group, you know, Chase and some of us. We go up there. Aaron Stanfield come up, Erica, and we kind of had 2 days slotted to do some burnouts, blah blah blah. So took Stephen Bell's car, and the next weekend racing. Stephen wasn't racing that race, so we had time to make sure everything was good for him. But anyway, take the car up there. Erica and Aaron kind of go through the cockpit with him, and like what I will tell you is Tony is, while he's goofy as all get out, he is a very big student of everything. Like he turns off the bullshit, right? And he gets, I'm not going to tell you serious. He'll still joke around, but he takes it all in. Fast forward, we go up there and he said, what are we doing here? I said, we'll do a burnout. Erica stood in the door. Aaron was on one side, right? We had radios on. We went through that stuff. He goes up there. First time he was a little bit high, right? But he does the burnout perfect, hits the spot, does all the stuff. We back up. We do another burnout. The second one, close to flawless. So we shut it off, pull it back to the pits, service it. Like we're going to go up there and what are we going to do next? Go up there, do a burnout, start over, do a burnout. You're going to stage the car, unclutch it, and go to where you're, if you're uncomfortable, shut it off. Go up there, does a burnout, backs up, stages shallow, just like he's done it a million times. And I'm not fluffing him up. I'm telling you the truth. He shorts it in low by 400 or 500 RPM, which is like, it took me like 6 years to figure out not to do that. Right. Comes back. He goes to the middle. Okay. Goes to the 1/8 of a mile. We come back. He told us on the way back what he did. He said, I think I shorted that one too. And sure enough, everything he said was exactly how it was. The second time to the starting line, to the stripe. He comes back and Erica told him, she said, I'd like to punch you right in the throat. Right. He's never drove a Pro Stock car. And we talked about this, and of course he wouldn't want, people saying this, but on the way home that night, I said, what we witnessed was what he is. I mean, he's a legend in motorsports. He can drive anything, and he makes all the other people look stupid. I mean, he really does. Listen, I'm telling you, I could take him next week to Vegas, and he wouldn't miss a beat in a Pro Stock car. And
I mean, and for those of us that have seen guys and people struggle to do a burnout, struggle to back the car up from a burnout.
Yeah. Listen,
or never
not being mean. I am not being mean.
Your whole career.
I bet there's not. I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it.
We found something Richard won't say.
No, I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody else in the pits can do what he did.
What do you think is? So he's talked a lot about when he came over and started, getting involved in drag racing, that he felt like he was behind the car. I mean, he's trying to work his way up to a top fuel car and then eventually into a top fuel car. And he said
Right.
like he felt like that was his main thing that he needed to learn.
Right.
Was to not, he kept saying, my brain is at the starting line and the car's at the finish line. And then obviously he's gotten over that. How much of that, you know, what you're just described of him in a pro stock car is his experience and learning in his short time in drag racing paired with all of his other experience? Like, do you think that, or are we just seeing someone that could have done that no matter what, even if he hadn't had the top fuel experience?
I think it's just like if you've ever been around any kind of a professional athlete, you know, it doesn't matter if they're playing golf. If they're a basketball player, if you go play golf with them, they'll whoop your ass at that. If you play football with them, they'll whoop your ass at that. A professional athlete is an athlete. Anybody would be behind a top fuel car. I get what he's talking about there, but I think that pro stock deal was so close to home for him.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost scary, meaning nobody does that. Nobody just gets in a car like that. And I mean, I'm not shitting you. He did 3 burnouts and he went to the finish line. We were done. I'll tell you something.
All the nuances that are in a pro stock car like that
would not ask for his license. So I thought that was odd. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, let's get that shit. Hell, we may need to put you in a car or something. No. He believes that the license process, and I never had thought of it, is kind of a joke. And he said, I want to be 100% right, perfect everywhere where I deserve a license for a pro stock car.
I have a lot of respect for that because we know people that will stroke a check just to get their license, go make the run and say they have a license.
Well, Tom, I think he said something similar when he was getting his top fuel license too. Yeah, he said something similar then too. And it was awesome because he just has so much respect for the sport and what it takes and
his peers,
all those things like you're saying.
Yeah, it's I mean, that was so it was, you know, I've learned a lot kind of being around him. You know, and then you'll turn around and you're talking about that iRacing, you know, you'll be at Dave and Buster's and you got to go to bed because that some bitch is playing this coin thing, you know, that pushes the quarters over, does all this shit. And I said, I mean, that's the type of guy he is. So I don't know. It was cool. And just so you know, that pro stock deal is not off the table, but we got to do one thing at a time. I mean, he would like to drive both, as well as so would Erica and so would Aaron. So them some bitches got my work. I got a lot of work to do is all I can do.
Yeah, you better. I mean, my God, you're going to have to add on to the shop to sell more rigs.
They don't make enough rigs to pay.
Well, speaking of which, man, obviously the big news in the industry the last week or so, or this week, has been R+L Carriers joining forces with you and the whole gang at Elite Motorsports. We've talked about this a lot. Like, I think that you have real deal, meaningful business relationships with these logos that are on these cars and on these fire suits. These are real, meaningful business transactions. So I'm sure, like, I know that's something that has been a point of pride for you, that these are real partnerships that are rooted in business, whether it's a B2B deal or a B2C deal, you're open to anything, but you guys have a world of big time partners at Elite Motorsports. What's it like having this R+L Carriers adding that to the team?
It's unbelievable. I mean, when I bought the team from Josh, you know, I think we were pretty transparent with, hey, we're going to work on funding. And if we can't get this car funded properly, we will not race it. I mean, Tony's not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I mean, we've run up and down the track enough. That's not the right way to go. So we were like heavy into working on that. I've told this story already. A lot of people won't believe this story, but it's the truth. It had been about a week or so after I bought the stuff from Josh. I got a text message, and it was a guy reaching out about a motor coach that I had for sale. on the website. We talked via text back and forth for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. I mean, a big string of texts. And he said, I might just build a new coach. And I said, okay, we'd love to help you with that. And he said, yeah, I like at NRC. They're close to me up here, blah, blah, blah. He said, I might even supply my own truck. I've got a trucking company. And I said, okay. I said, and so then I start asking the question. I said, listen, if you're going to supply a truck, usually they call, they charge us a third to get started, a third and a third. And I said, are you going to, cash, you paying, or you need financing? And he said, no, I'm a cash buyer, and tells me again, he owns a trucking company. And then he sends me this screenshot, right? Again, I've never met Robbie. And he sends this screenshot of R+L Carriers. And first thought that come to my mind was, there's no way this is a coincidence, right? I just bought Josh Hart's operation, but it was. And I don't, Wes, we've talked in deep stuff about lots of different things. I believe stuff happens for a reason. Robbie didn't know who I was. He had no idea that he had no idea, not only Josh had sold his team, that I'd bought it. And so as we're talking through this, at the same time I'm texting him, I wanted to make sure Josh Hart knew, right, that, hey, I'm talking to the owner of R+L. And from right there, Josh was aware, and that conversation transformed into, wow, I didn't know you bought that team, to, what's your plans with it? He had no idea that Tony Stewart was going to be involved. And then, Josh had plans with, so I'm telling the public that Josh Hart was aware of everything that had transpired and was instrumental in, stamping that. Robbie Roberts, that whole team at R+L. I mean, we've been talking now for 3 or 4 weeks, and I'll be honest with you, it's like we've known these people forever. Super excited. We was on the phone with them this morning for an hour, right? Talking about different things. And so, and not talking about Josh's program, but what we do here at Elite Motorsports. And again, Wes, you've watched this from the beginning. And I've always said, we have to offer our partners at any level, an arsenal of stuff. And that's what we're doing. It's Tony Stewart in a top fuel car. It's Eric Anders. It's Jed Coughlin. It's TJ Coughlin. It's Aaron Stanfield, Greg Stanfield, Stephen Bell. I mean, the list goes on. And so when we put all this together, I want it to look different, feel different, and be different. And so that's what we're doing. I mean, I've already told NHRA, listen, it's a must that all this stuff's parked together. That's different. They've never done it. I don't care if my top fuel car is with the rest of the top fuel cars. I want my top fuel car with my team cars. And
100%.
I want the people that are our partners to be under
one
roof, right? And
how long have we fought this battle, Rich? Like getting all these people, we can't segment this shit out. And I understand, like, maybe that's the way they've always done it, but times are changing. And they're
not changing. They're done changed.
Yeah, they're changed.
I mean, and so I've had these conversations. You got to remember, and this isn't negative. This is a fun task. So I've got Tony, who's never been in drag race. He doesn't know if a top fuel car is supposed to be parked with the top fuel cars or with the super street cars. He ain't got a clue.
Right.
He goes where he's told. Right. Leah, on the other hand, right, she's a top fuel, but she's also been in, the super stock pits. She's been in the pro mod
pits. I mean, she knows what it's like to have your team off in the marbles or out in the grass somewhere.
100%.
I mean, I remember
so me and her, like, we've she gets it. Tony gets it. Again, he doesn't care, right, where he parks. But to me, all these barriers and walls, they just keep ratcheting down. You know, we've had some that have started to build back up, and my entire goal with this deal is not only to be have a competitive top fuel car, but to do things differently. Not that it's right or wrong, but different. I mean, from hospitality to, I want it to look different. I want it to feel different. I want to have a fuel car on one side and a pro stock car on the other, because just like R+L, those people, while they're race fans, they don't know the difference. They really don't. Their buy-in to was with Tony and Elite Motorsports.
Yeah.
That was it. Now we want them to know Erica, and we want them to know Aaron, and we want them to know Jag, and we want them, and so all of those things, and it's an educational process. That's what it is.
Oh shit, we lost your audio, Richard.
Phone call.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
Anyway, that's what I want to do. That's the stuff that I like, and I'm excited to do that and take that on.
So we're going to see R+L extend to your other cars too, to the pro stock cars, at least in some
they're
capacity.
They are a team
sponsor.
partner.
Yeah,
that's what they are. And again, they don't know it quite yet, but they will understand once they got to touch it, feel it. They got to figure it out, right? And that's what we're going to do. And we're super excited, you know. And you brought something up, Wes. I started it to ditch, right? And to have, we've got some unbelievable partners. Jason Johnson, Jay's She Garage, have been through with us through thick and thin. There's fantastic people, right? His father was the founder of Copart. Big deal, right? Mark Melling, Mark and Matt Melling have been supporters of ours for quite some time now. Owned and operated their own Cup team. A lot of people don't know that. Won a Cup championship with Bill Elliott behind the wheel. Partners of ours, right? Now R+L, Jags, you know, from Jag Coughlin Jr., the new owners of Jags. Now we got 2 cars next year. Super excited about that. One flat black car with yellow. One, you know, Jag Coughlin Jr. is going to be back in that yellow with black stripe. I mean,
where he belongs. Yeah,
that's right. Super excited about that. We've had the Skag group, right? Great people over there. We have just got a plethora of top tier partners, and it's not because we're better than the other people on the racetrack. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with doing what we do behind the ropes.
I think it's the culture. It's the culture, and you and I have talked about this for a long time. Part of like what I know I've learned this from you, and we've worked on this together, but it's like bringing people into our network, bringing them into our circle. I mean, that's what we've found, is that it's like, hey, you get involved with Drag Illustrated, you get involved with Elite Motorsports, and you need something done, and we can make it happen.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And if you, I mean, and just this, like the R+L Carriers thing, like your access to all these people that have businesses that operate in the truck. I mean, I can't imagine all the dots that you can connect behind the scenes that have nothing to do with a logo on a race car, nothing to do. It's just bringing people together that have similar thinking and a similar vision for this stuff. And that's when the magic happens, man. I mean, you don't have to win another race ever again. I mean, obviously you want to, but it's way more than what happens on the racetrack. And I think that's where I know that every sponsorship deck I get from a race team, every one of them look the same. It's like, here's all the races I've won. Here's all the rounds I've won. Here's all the championships. And it's like, that's great. But what the value that you really provide these people is bringing them into your network. How much product can you move for them? How many customers can you get them connected to? Really, big opportunities. I mean, we've seen that before with you, where you've brought in a guy and all of a sudden they're doing business with everybody in the pits, like these insurance companies that you work with, USI. I mean, that there's a lot of magic to that stuff that I think people kind of gloss over.
Big magic. And I will tell you, you've been with me talking about potential partners, sponsors, whatever you want to call them, right? The racing is absolutely secondary. And even some of the people that are, you know, whether it's Erica or Leah or that, they look at me like I have three heads. There's nothing wrong with what we do on the racetrack, whether it's one of your races, whether it's an NHRA race. When you go from the water box to the finish line, there's nothing wrong with anything there. The thing that has changed is what is back behind the ropes, and it has changed. You know, we're sitting here on a who would ever thought, right? What we're doing right now, having the podcast. You know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, nobody even knew what is that.
Yeah.
So it's things have changed, and I'm very fortunate that I've just had an opportunity to work with some people that changed my way of thinking. You know, I don't send a deck out. My deck is it's a digital deal, and it shows who we are.
Yeah.
And then if somebody has an interest in talking about returns and you know, all that crap y'all talk about, TV numbers and all that shit, we can get it for them. But to me, that is the least important thing that there is. It's relationship driven.
100%. All of that shit is so secondary to getting in the community.
Yep.
You know, and sometimes, you know, the price of admission is sponsoring a car. I've told that to people before. It's like, hey, you want to have access to this group of people? You want to, you know, be on a first name basis with guys that can make big things happen in a hurry?
Yep.
You know, get your business involved with one of these race teams, and you'll be surprised the doors that start opening, you know, and they don't gotta, it's the truth, man. I mean, it really, really is. So tell me.
Also, I think it's also about ensuring, like, when R+L comes on, they want to know you're going to put together the team that's going to perform on the track and off. Talk a little bit about bringing in Mike Green to kind of anchor this new team. I think that's a big key that, you know, these sponsors, when they commit, they want to know that you're going to be able to put that team together. And it looks like you're well on your way with Mike Green.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. That was probably the most nerve-wracking thing, because all I hear, right, and stuff I've watched is people, right? And people are the backbone of anything that we do. I was scared going into this to Top Fuel because, in my opinion, there's about 5 or 6 that are really good that can do both, right? That so you almost got to go steal someone if you would use that. I had made my mind up. I'll be honest with you, Mike Green, top of the list, but there was a couple of things. I felt like I had a very deep friendship with Dustin Davis, who owned that team prior to Randy and them owning it. Justin and Mike Ashley, through our SCAG relationship and all of that stuff, have become friends with him. And honestly, Mike was, to me, was a little bit off limits. So there were other names. His you know, Tommy, Delago. There was just a lot of people that we had sat down and said, okay, right? I'd even talked to some guys that have never been crew chiefs, that I still have an interest in maybe trying to figure out a way to do something with them. I won't mention any names, but there's a lot of talent out there that deserve a shot. And that's something that Mike called me. We talked about what my vision, my plan was. And he said, man, I'd like to be involved. So when he said to me that he believed in the fact of bringing the next generation to the table, and not, you've heard me say this, Wes, I hate the word proprietary. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. Even my guys, they don't agree with it, right? But I believe in today's world of racing, it's bad, because there are people that can run. Wes, how many people come to your race over the winter that run Pro Mod? Do you think there's plenty of them people that could run Top Fuel if they wanted to? Yeah. I believe so. I believe so.
Very much so.
It's not about money. It's about the ability to obtain
Success.
the right parts
Yeah.
and the right people. And I have to say this, Greg Anderson and the KB group and myself have done that in Pro Stock, and I believe it can be done in Top Fuel and Funny Car. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be as cheap. I get that. It's different. You can't rent motors, right, to somebody to run Top Fuel because the shit, half of it's going to be in the stands. So, so it's a different avenue.
Yeah.
But you make it available, right? Look at what I have to Spencer Hyde, right? Look at what Jim Head has done for not just Spencer, but other drivers coming up, right?
Yeah.
He made it available. He doesn't, and I don't know that Jim knows this, right? He can't drive the car himself today, or he doesn't feel like he can. So he does this stuff with these young and upcoming drivers. He's really doing something special.
There's no doubt.
Yes, they're paying. Somebody's paying. I have no idea what Spencer's paying. Doesn't matter. But Spencer Hyde and his family, they're racers. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a prime example of what I'm talking about. They have the money to do what they want to. If they want to run a fuel car, they can. And they're not the only ones out there. The problem is they can't obtain.
Yeah, there's no pathway to success.
There's no pathway to success. And so, again, I got to prove it. A lot of people have told me I'm stupid, and I may be stupid. I don't believe so. But Mike Green believed in that, back to Mike Green, and that vision of making it, helping these young.
We need them. I mean, we've seen, you guys have done a great job with this. I mean, we've seen it with, Justin Elks and his group. Like, it's not just Justin working on these cars anymore, right?
No.
I mean, we're bringing up new talent. I think about guys like Anthony Lum, and I mean, the list goes on. Chris Terry is part of Scott Tidwell's deal, and I mean, there's a lot of really sharp guys that are they just need their shot. You know what I mean? And I think that I love to hear that, Richard, because knowing that Mike Green is going into this deal with an open mind that, hey, we've got to be, who's going to be the Chase Freeman?
That's right.
Right. Who's going to be this guy that got to work under Mark Ingersoll?
That's right.
One of the smartest guys to ever walk around a racetrack, and get to spend 4 or 5 years around him, or 10 years around him, and then be able to go get his shot at calling the, being the decision maker on
Being
the
the
car.
guy.
And that to me is worth its weight in gold. And we need a whole lot more thinking like that. I mean, because we could well see, I mean, is that what you want? I mean, just kind of closing notes. You want to see Top Fuel and Funny Car be more accessible.
Yes.
Basically.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Listen.
Yeah.
And here I am talking about, you're a pro mod guy, right? I'm kind of going against the grain from you, but here's the thing. Top Fuel, Funny Car, they sell tickets. People want to watch these crazy sumbitch. I ain't driving one.
Yeah.
But they're loud, they're fast, they're exciting, right? I mean, I can tell you, Wes, we can have a conversation about it, but that's where people want to spend their money.
I mean, and that's what they've been trained to do.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, that's what they've been trained to do for 75 years now. And and that's why, I mean, to be honest, I look at Pro Mod right now, and I feel that that's what we have done, is we've created a pathway to success.
100%.
You don't have to necessarily have an engine shop. You don't have to have you don't own a single CNC machine. You don't have to own a dyno. You just have to be able to buy the right parts and pieces and hire the right. And there's a plethora of people available to tune these cars. You know what I mean? So it's the pathway to success in Pro Mod. It's accessible. Is it cheap? Absolutely not.
There's no way we'd have 80, 85 cars at the World Series of Pro Mod without that kind of accessibility. And that's what you need in Top Fuel and Funny Car, because we're seeing it go the other direction over the last handful of years. If it doesn't get an injection of something like this, that trend's going to continue. So, I mean, it needs this to survive.
Well, and go back to your Pro Mod deal. And we agree, right? I mean, I'm 100% in agreement with you. And I will tell you, you started talking about Pro Modified could be the most expensive class out there. I'm being honest with you. I got one, and they tear up a lot of shit, and there's a lot of R&D. Mike, you're there. My team's right across the parking lot, right, with Justin. You know how much they work. They race 10 times a year. not counting the Winter Series,
Yeah,
right?
no doubt.
And I can tell you, I know what Mason Wright spends. And Mason, you can't run pro stock for what, I mean, pro stock's way cheaper than that. Way cheaper on a by race
Right.
deal. So
It's because the bar keeps getting raised too with events like we're having NHRA Pro Mod. As it gets more competitive, that cost
and the eyeballs get bigger.
Yep.
I mean, you start talking about having millions of people watching this stuff and people coming from all around. I mean, that's just like kind of the natural evolution of it, and it's definitely at a fever pitch right now. But I mean, my closing thing on this is we definitely are pro mod guys, but I love the sport of drag racing. I don't care if you're racing a junior dragster or a B altered and comp eliminator or a true 10. I don't care. If you're rolling through a water box and staging up a hot rod, you're my kind of guy or gal. And I think that there's been a scarcity mindset in the sport of drag racing. Is there's room for all this stuff to be successful.
100%.
I mean, there's 100% room for the NHRA to flourish and do all the things that they want to do. The Winter Series to flourish. I mean, we're planning on launching a new deal in 2026. Obviously, you'll be a part of that. I mean, there's room for these things. I mean, we've got to quit acting like we've got to go start building new fans, getting new fans. I mean, as long as we stay laser focused on just doing the same old shit and getting the same graybeards to come out to the racetrack every weekend, we've got to go get new eyeballs. And there are things happening in our sport that I think are pushing us that direction because, I mean, you said it earlier, what happens between those concrete guard walls? There ain't a motorsport on the planet that compares.
No.
There's really not. We've got
There's nothing to be fixed there.
There's nothing to be fixed. We've got a great thing. We just got to change a little bit of the packaging and evolve. I mean, because that's the thing is we've just got to evolve a little bit. Well, Richard, thank you so much for shooting the shit with us a little bit.
Yep.
You're home this weekend and then I guess headed to Vegas to see what's
and then we got SEMA. And Mike, I need you to call me. We need to talk about some wraps. And
can we expect green and white to make its way into the Elite Motorsports pit?
Buddy,
you're going to allow it to happen?
I tell you, there's going to be
like Christmas.
There's going to be some green, but there may be a little twist. It's going to be a little different. But we're excited about that. We're almost nailed down there, so we're super excited about that.
Well, keep me posted, man. I want to be on the inside. So, and we'll talk to you soon, and I'll make sure Mike calls you when we're done.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good day.
You too. Thanks, Richard.
Bye-bye.
JT, let me take a quick second here before we bring in our second guest of the show and pay some bills. I want to remind you guys that each and every episode of the Wes Buck Show is made possible by way of our friends at Stroud Safety. Stroud Safety is known for their top quality racing safety equipment, from drag chutes and seatbelts to fire suits and blankets, all 100% made in America. Log on to StroudSafety.com today and make sure you tell them we sent you. And I want to give a special shout out to Tommy and Anita Cunningham, Larry and Sue Cunningham for an absolute incredible weekend at the recently completed Midwest Drag Racing Series Throwdown in T-Town. Just took place this past weekend in Tulsa Raceway Park, and absolutely incredible performance. They got a brand new 4.9 Noonan in that badass black and gold Mustang, and Tommy came out swinging. A career weekend for Tommy. Absolutely incredible performance for the Stroud Safety Pro Mod team, and I can't wait to see what they do this winter at the big show, the Drag Illustrated Winter Series presented by J&A Service. Micah, I think
we didn't even get to talk to Richard about Winter Series and the Elite Million.
I know.
We'll have to have him back on. When he gets rolling, man, it's over.
No, but that was a lot of valuable conversation right there. But we got a huge guest.
Yeah, it was. That's really good
right now. Huge guest. I think, is this maybe the second time this young man has joined us? Is this the first?
I think it's the first. I think you do something with him at SEMA or PRI or something.
I can't remember. But ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, one of the biggest stars in the motorsports space, the one and only Mike Finnegan. Let's give it up. Where's he at, JT? Did you click the button?
We're just going to keep clapping forever.
We're just going to keep clapping forever. We're just going to keep clapping. JT's locked up. No,
there we go.
Oh, no, you're good. What's up,
JT's
buddy?
frozen. Check out that face. There we go.
Hey there. How we doing, guys?
We're doing good, man. Congratulations on a hell of a weekend. But I see you got, is that Sonny's powered boat over your shoulder?
Yeah, it's header building day. So
Header day.
I got like 4 days to build headers, and then it's got to go to Sonny's to get refreshed and dynoed, and then go to SEMA, and then go to the World Finals of Drag Boat Racing. So
where's the World Finals?
You can't miss one of those Sonny's Hemis. Like, I mean, with the valve covers and everything, you can spot that thing a mile away.
Yeah, they make sure their name's all over.
Where is the Drag Boat World Finals, Mike?
Well, it's an interesting time in drag boat racing.
It is.
for a lot of years, it was in Wild Horse Pass, or we used to be Firebird there in Chandler, Arizona. It was the last couple of years, but then I guess they're putting in a freeway overpass and eating up part of the lake, so there's nothing there this year. So we're going to Parker, Arizona, on the Colorado River and racing in front of Casino, which always makes me happy. So
same.
Yeah. So we'll be at the Blue Water Resort and Casino, like right the weekend SEMA ends is where we're going to be. So
wow,
so I'm only being SEMA for like 2 days, which is awesome.
Yeah, that is nice.
That deal will wear you out.
Yeah, like Vegas for
Especially-
me, 2 days, perfect amount of time to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially
I
with
like-
all the stuff you've probably got going on at SEMA. Usually, I can't imagine it's enough for us, but you've always got all the appearances and stuff. That deal
Finnegan's
will
a legit
wear you flat.
A-list. Finnegan's A-list in our space. He's a real deal celebrity out
I
here.
don't know about that.
So he's definitely A-list. I got to tell you, man, huge shout out for taking care of my boy Jimmy Dale. Little Tom Gunner has become like one of my oldest children. Him and Poland are, I love him like my own. And I can't tell you how excited they were for you to put him behind the wheel of the Rotson and send them on their merry way. It looked like
That's ballsy.
why don't you tell this how this whole deal came to be? For those that haven't followed along, Edelbrock's Six Smokies went down this past week, a twisty, turny drag and drive from Tom Bailey, Luke Nyhoff, and the whole team at Sick the Magazine. They've done an incredible job with all these kind of themed variations of their traditional drag and drive event, the one that so many people talk about, Sick Week. But somehow, some way, you've been a part of the drag and drive scene since its onset. I mean, you and Freiberger is credited with inventing this form of drag racing competition. So, I mean, I want to talk about Blasphemy and all the crazy stuff with the wheel stands at Drag Week and then carrying it over to Win and A-Gas this past week on Six Smokies. But how the hell did you get hooked up with putting Jimmy Dale behind the wheel of the Rotson?
Well, he called me because he was going to be in town, and he didn't want to rent a car, and he was looking for something to buy, something that he could drive to SGMP and then maybe flip afterwards. And these days, I don't know if you guys have encountered this, but it's hard to get anyone to sell or buy something, especially on Facebook Marketplace. You put up an ad and you get 100 people going, "Is it still for sale?" And so I said, "Hey, just grab an Uber and come to my shop. I have some pretty crappy cars inside there. You just pick one to drive it." And so we went through the warehouse, and the most reliable thing, in my opinion, was the Rotson, because I had just driven it from California to Georgia with Freiberger, and it didn't break, not even once. And so, to his credit, he's like, "Yeah, I'll go." And what I didn't know at the time was he was supposed to be racing that night. So he had flown from Texas to Atlanta, went the wrong direction. He went north to visit me about an hour and a half. By the time we got him in the car and on the road, it had probably been like 5 hours after his flight landed, and he had to race at SGMP, which for me is a solid 4.5 hour drive. And so he made it about 20 miles before it overheated on the highway, which was a total surprise to me. I did not see that coming. I did not. But in that moment, I learned a lot. Like, I didn't know him all that well. Like, we've run into each other maybe once in our lives. And what made me do it was I had watched those YouTube videos he made at Sick Week last year where he melted his face off. And I didn't know him back then. That video got fed to me by the algorithm. And I watched it, and I watched, here's a guy just taking the worst possible circumstance, and he took it on the chin and made it funny. And I went, this is a guy I would hang out with, this is a guy that I would, go off a cliff with, because when you land at the bottom, we'll be okay. The two of us, we'll figure it out. And so when he hit me up for a car, I was like, yeah, just go have fun, and he just took that even further when after he went to SGMP, he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm headed to Alabama to go do a drag and drive for a week. And, why don't you just drive the Rotson up there?" And he did it. I was like, wow, okay. This dude is down, And so we spent a week together on the road, going from track to track through the Smoky Mountains, just having the time of our lives while he kept that car alive, because it didn't want to stay alive when he
It looked like it was quite, so take us through some of that, because every time I got on social media, I saw, busted knuckles and grease up to his elbows trying to fix something. So did it started immediately, the problems?
Well, so when he left me in the warehouse, apparently there was a problem with the radiator hose, and that was the overheating. So he fixed that. But when he got to the sick event, he ran the car down the track, and it was slow because it is. And then he wanted to go faster, and that became the problem. Was we figured out how to make it work on the two-step and shoot fireballs. The next thing you know, it's spitting head gaskets out. Fix that. Turn up the boost, spitting head gaskets out again, and it just became this fight of this poor guy is trying to upload a new video every day during that deal. But the problem is you're on the road 12 to 15 hours a day. And then he's not going in the parking lot with the rest of us to have beers. He's going back to his room and editing. So every day he was a zombie, and he still managed to somehow get like a video up every damn day. He was one of the most disciplined people I've ever met. It was impressive. So.
No, he's serious about it, man. And to see like how much he has grown as a human being and like a husband and a dad and a friend, it's incredible. And I'm so happy for him, because I think our sport needs, like you said, the person, his ability to take something that is pretty much amongst the most backbreaking endeavors that you can have, is going drag racing, and make it relatable and fun and laugh the whole time and just roll with the punches. It's pretty incredible, man. It really is.
Yeah. And he and Poland are just hilarious to be around. So
they're funny as shit.
Poland was there for half of it. Then he had to go. And then Modale came in and did the rest of it. And we saw parts of America neither one of us has ever seen, and just had a killer time. And predictably on the last day, it puked the head gaskets again, and that was the end of it. But that's what the Rotson does. It gives you a little taste of speed, then it kicks you in the junk and makes you want to work on it later, after you put it away for a little while and ignore it,
Oh, man. Well, so tell me about your endeavors. We were watching all of Hot Rod Drag Week, and Blasphemy is dragging the bumper, doing these second, third, freaking fourth gear wheel stands, completely out of control. It sounds like which I got to admit, it was awfully fun to watch. I can't imagine what it was like trying to drive it.
Yeah. The first one was fun. The very first wheelie, I was like, all right, cool. That car doesn't wheelie normally. Under normal circumstances, it'll do a little wheelie. It does not go up. It went up on the frame rails the first time. And it's the first time it's ever done that, where I went, okay, I'm going to click second and see if it will come down softly. And it didn't. It went even higher. And so it wheelied to the 330 mark. And finally, I was at the top of second, ready to hit third. And I went, I don't know where I am. Like, I don't know if I'm drifting left, the wall. Like, I don't know what's going on. So I just cracked it a little bit, and it came down like I was thrown out of a building. And I was still going straight. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just kept going. But the problem was that destroyed the coilovers. Not completely, like just enough where if we put some more rebound in it, it did something, but it went up there again and wheelied again because the track was just so damn good. And we did not have enough wheel speed, and we couldn't generate enough wheel speed. And so by the end of the second wheelie, the coilovers were shot, and I couldn't get another pair, and we didn't want to quit. So it was basically the next 4 days was survive and just do whatever we can to not wheelie, which was really difficult. It made a couple of 8-second passes where it bounced when I shifted third because the shocks were done, and I clicked third and it bounced off the ground and just wheelied at like 100 miles an hour, which was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life.
I can imagine, man.
Yeah,
it looked like a handful. And then you take it to on Edelbrock 6 Smokies. Tell us about the drive. You talked about, winding through, beautiful scenery and whatnot, but street manner wise, have you got that Hemi? Is it pretty manageable on the drives?
Oh yeah, it's like a Prius except without the fuel economy now. I take my kids to school with it. It's a fun street car. I built it as a street car first, and then discovered the drag and drive thing through Hot Rod Drag Week. I worked at Hot Rod Magazine. I was a reporter there, and so I was just reporting on these legends who were taking these cars and doing extraordinary things with them, and just fell in love with it. So I took my street car and I just started throwing parts at it and learning. And now it's gotten out of hand, but it's still a pretty good street car. It's got rugged radios, so I don't go deaf, and I can talk to my wife and kids on the phone when I drive, and my co-pilots. And it's got a 6-speed T56 gearbox in it, a manual, so I have double overdrive, so it'll go 80 on the highway. And other than it being really loud, the EFI makes it completely drivable. And so it's a fun street car. But this particular event was the toughest I've ever done in my life because it was through the mountains. It was very little highway driving. All 6 days of the drive were just through the mountains. And you started in Alabama, in Huntsville. You went up to Nashville, Knoxville, down to Ringgold, Georgia, back to Huntsville. And so we're towing a trailer behind the car with all the spares and parts and, you know, wheels and tires and tools and all this stuff. And that thing weighs about 2,000 pounds when it's all loaded up. So you're doing Tail of the Dragon in a gasser with a trailer behind you. And it was the funnest thing I've ever done. But man, was it hard on parts, you know? Finishing it was incredible. Absolutely.
What do you make of Drag and Drive has absolutely exploded. And as you said, you were a part of the team at Hot Rod for a long time. I mean, where do you think this thing is at, like in its life cycle? Like, are we seeing it? Is this like the crescendo, you believe? Like this is as big, or are we going to see more and more of these events pop up?
It's going to keep growing. Absolutely. The sport itself is just going to keep growing because it's so accessible and anyone can do it. And it doesn't matter what you're driving. It literally doesn't matter what you're driving. It doesn't even matter if it's a motorcycle. There's a class for you. And anybody that's done a lot of drag racing where, you know, you're there for an entire season or competing for a championship, that can be a grind. This, you'll drive your car more than you ever have and anything. And then you're going to see America at the same time with a bunch of people who, when you beat them, you don't get any money. You're competing for a helmet or a guitar or something. And so everybody's competitive, but is not cutthroat in any stretch of the mind. And financially, it doesn't seem to get out of control with most of the classes because, again, there's no money in it, you know?
Right.
So
I think it might be the secret weapon. I mean, purse money is such a challenge, right? Because we've participated in this. We put on these big payout pro mod races and whatnot, but don't think that I haven't every step of the way recognized that like you're just getting further and further away from that accessibility. You know what I mean? That this is a bunch of guys racing for bragging rights and gals and people that are hobbyists sharing this passion together and going out and fighting this battle together. And I think that that's where the magic. We were talking to Mike Galimi on the show here a few weeks ago, and he talked about the challenge of Drag and Drive is just one of the most attractive things because it's not necessarily about, you know, competing with a bunch of millionaires or whatever. It's about kind of a competition against yourself. It's a personal best type of endeavor. And then perhaps most importantly, that brotherhood, you know, the thumbs up, thumbs down on the side of the road, the checking in on people, going to all the checkpoints. It's a really incredible fraternity that has been established in that community. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I have been 200 miles away from winning my class when I needed a gear set for my transmission and borrowed it from another racer in my class. As soon as I fixed it and stayed in first place and we were ready to hit the road, the guy I borrowed some tools from, who's in second place, needed a rocker arm from me. So here you go. Like tomorrow we're going to do battle and I want you at your best. I don't want to beat you because you didn't make it to the last track, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like you find that with everybody at these events. It's like I said, well, like you said, it's a brotherhood and it's not cutthroat at all. You know, it's super competitive. Everybody there is trying to go as quick as they can. But at the end of the day, maybe you won an orange helmet and we had some beers. Maybe I didn't get the helmet. Maybe you did, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, a week later, we're going to be on the internet busting each other's nuts, waiting for the next event. So it's cool. I like it.
So for those people that don't know, why don't you give us a little bit of like, let's hit the rewind button on the tape deck. Like, you know, I became familiar with you through the variety of hot rod endeavors and the Motor Trend shows. And like, how did Mike Finnegan, as we know you now, how did this whole process start? Like how did we get here?
Probably RC cars when I was a kid. And then, TV shows that had cars in them, like the Dukes of Hazzard and, Knight Rider and the A-Team, you know, in the 80s. And then I really got here because I didn't have the money to pay anyone to build anything for me. So I just bought tools, whatever I could afford, and just taught myself how to work on stuff. And then just kept breaking stuff over and over and over again, you know. The first motor I ever rebuilt, I was 16 and didn't know how to read plastic gauge, and that didn't work out, you know? So it's just been stuff like that. It's really only the last, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years that I've progressed to, you know, where I'm comfortable doing things that if you did them wrong could get you hurt, you know? So now, you know, in my basement, in my garage, we'll fabricate stuff and, you know, do whatever we need to, because still it's hard to pay people to do stuff that I feel like I could probably do myself. And most of the people I'm acquainted with are so busy these days. Like, you can't get your car in there to get worked on anyway. So, you know, the community I think is doing great right now in terms of business.
I agree, man. That's a couple of things I want to talk about, because you've been a part of the media. Did you ever have, like, was a media role ever kind of in your vision or for your future? Like, or was that just getting in where you fit in?
No, what it was, you know, I was one of those kids that loved cars, had no direction, never took the SATs in high school, didn't even know when they were. And so when I graduated high school, I went to community college just because I thought that's what I'm supposed to be doing, but I didn't have a goal for it. And I was at a car show in New York with a friend of mine who had a shop, and he had his customers' trucks there. And I see this guy walking around with a camera, and I asked him what he was doing, and he's like, "Oh, my name's Courtney Hallowell. I work for Mini Trucking Magazine. I'm going to photograph this show, go home and write a story about it and put it in a magazine." And I went, "That's a job." He said, "Yeah." And I was like, son of a gun. That's what I want to do, you know? And so it was just a chance meeting of this guy who worked at a magazine that I read as a kid. I read Mini Trucking Magazine.
Mini Trucking. Yeah.
But I didn't, you know, it never seemed attainable that you could get that job. That guy had that job. He's probably always going to be there. How do you get that job? I don't know. And I was lucky in that he was super cool. He coached me through my last 2 semesters of college and what classes to take. And, you know, when I graduated, he had left, and I drove from New York to California and went right through the door and said, "Here's my mini truck. I don't know what I'm doing. Can I have a job?" You know? And to their credit, I was way underqualified to do the job, but they knew I liked the stuff. And if I could build a mini truck, they'll teach me how to write and take pictures. And so that's how I got my foot in the door, was just being into it, you know, and willing. I like, my whole career is based on not saying no, you know, just unless it got me killed or thrown in jail, I said yes to whatever the assignment was, or whatever the possibility was, whether it was doing wheelies in a dump truck, or, you know, swapping an engine to a boat from a truck we drove to the lake, and then going boating, and then taking the motor out of the boat and putting it back in the truck and going home. I was like, yes, let's do this. And that's literally why I'm talking to you right now. That and David Freiberger. I mean, you know, I'd give him all the credit in the world for me sitting here. So
it's an incredible thing. I mean, what do you make of, like, the modern media landscape? Because, like, I tell this story a lot. I mean, I remember my story was very similar. I mean, I had no idea what I wanted to do, tried college for about 2 weeks, bailed, it wasn't for me. And next, one thing leads to another. And here comes Drag Illustrated. And now we're celebrating 20 years of doing this. But man, has the media world changed, you know, since I started out back in the fall of 2005. I mean, back then, the magazine was a big endeavor. I mean, we were doing 12 issues a year. It was me and a couple of buddies. We were in way over our head. None of us had any formal training or journalistic experience. We were racers. We love this shit, and we talked about it all the time. So we might as well talk about it to other people, or share these conversations. But now in 2025, I mean, it's magazine, print, digital, social, email, videos. You've got to be in so many places. There's a gazillion different motorsports podcasts. There's all these different websites. We've seen all these shows come and go. The California publishing landscape has obviously changed dramatically. What do you make of kind of like this current state of the union when it comes to all this stuff? I mean, I don't mean to overstep here, but, like, are you still involved with Motor Trend, or what is all going on with all that stuff?
Oh, well, you got in at an interesting time. You were right around, not the peak, but right before things got weird with the economy, and print media and all that. And so since then, you know, everyone's pivoted. I mean, Motor Trend, I don't know, they got 3 or 4 magazines now, when there used to be, that company had, I think, 60. And so, yeah, everything's pivoted to digital, online, the whole world. And in terms of my involvement with them, that's weird, because that company owns the rights to the name of the show, Roadkill. They own the live events, Roadkill Nights and Hot Rod Power Tour and Drag Week. So I still do stuff with them. Fabrica and I just went to Roadkill Nights and had a blast. It was really fun. But in terms of that TV show, I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen with that thing in the future. Warner Brothers Discovery owns the catalog of everything we made. And now Freiberger and I are full-time YouTubers and enjoying that. It's really fun. It's where we got started. It's where we're back. And Roadkill was really, really fun. And, I don't think the door's ever shut on that thing. But right now, I don't know what's going on.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of the case with the television world. What little I have been exposed to that world, it seems very cyclical. It's largely to do with who's in leadership positions at any given time. It seems like rarely is it like really tactile, or like it's not a nuts and bolts thing. It's who's the new leader, who's the new CEO that's trying to leave their mark or whatever. And they obviously come in and they feel they've got to make changes. And a lot of these shows and different properties kind of get tossed around or whatever. But I mean, you're right. I mean, you can't close the door on those things, but it is interesting. We've often felt like, I wish if I was a little bit older and would have started Drag Illustrated like in 1995 instead of 2005, like we missed a decade of prime money making. Do you know what I mean? Like, because
but you were, it all happens for a reason. You weren't ready.
Right. 100%. We weren't ready.
I probably had kids later in life than when I look back now. I wish I had started sooner, but I wasn't ready. I was too selfish to have kids in my 20s. And so I don't know. I try not to look back at any of that stuff because
you can't. You know what I mean? And I mean, and you
made
a really great. Now. Well, I mean, and I feel like we're walking on fertile soil, Mike. I mean, every time I look around and for all that we've accomplished as a sport and how far drag racing has come, and we're, admittedly, we're laser focused on drag racing. We don't get beyond those walls. But I feel like our sport, despite a rich history, 75 years of the NHRA next year and all these incredible things going on, this feels like the greatest time ever to be a part of this sport. I mean, I hear people yearning for the glory days. I think we're in the glory days. I mean, from the little gangsters stuff. And I mean, the fact that it's like fashionable to have a 530 index car right now, the fact that Pro Mod is exploding, the fact that these drag and drive deals are exploding, the fact that the staples of our sport, like the NHRAs, are still standing tall and selling out massive racetracks. I mean, it feels like there's a lot of good going on right now in the sport of drag racing.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about everything that's happening now, nobody needs any of it. Like, we don't need any of this to live every day. And yet it's still happening. People are still filling grandstands and buying speed parts and watching videos. And it's really impressive, and it all goes to the people that are doing it. The people that are getting out and making stuff that people want to embrace, like you want to hear something funny? I went a 540 in my 55 the other day during Six Smokies, the quickest I've ever gone in it. The first thing somebody said for me was, "Oh, you should enter Little Gangsters." I'd get my teeth kicked in, but okay, thank you.
Yeah, but it's crazy to me that like these things that are happening in our sport, it's such an exciting time because, I mean, could things be different or better? Blah, 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 whatever. That's always going to be the case, no matter what's going on. But like I was at the Texas Motorplex for the NHRA Fall Nationals a couple of weeks ago, and I walked out under that tower and I looked at these two grandstands, slam packed full of people. You couldn't have shoehorned another person in there. It's 95 degrees in the Texas summer sun. And I just had to like take a second and like reflect on how lucky. I can't believe that there are anybody that would do this. Go sit in an aluminum grandstand for 10, 12 hours to be a part of a drag race. I mean, I think sometimes we're not thankful enough for how truly great this community is. I mean, and it's like while that event's happening, Donald Long's putting on a badass drag radio race in South Georgia, and Midwest Drag Racing Series is here, and I mean, it's just crazy how much stuff is going on at any given moment and how well supported they all are. I mean, Sick Week, they can't seem to put on an event that doesn't sell out.
Yeah. Those are hard to get into now. They sell out in minutes online. And, but all I got to do is think about like, a little more than 5 years ago, we were all locked in our houses. So I think people are still just craving for a communal experience,
I agree. I think
outdoors.
the future, I mean, I look at that with our own business, is we expanded from one event, the World Series of Pro Mod, to these 3 events, the Winter Series, the Snowbird Outlaw Nationals, the US Street Nationals, culminating with the World Series. But I'm looking at 2026, 27 going, we've got to do more events, because like that, people are yearning for it. Like, people want to get out of their houses. They want to go do things. And our sport needs more great events. I mean, that's what we hear from our partners oftentimes, whether it's our streaming partners at Flow Racing or whatever. We need more great events that capture the imagination of the masses. And I feel compelled that that's the future of our business for sure, is those more communal experiences, getting people together to make memories.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've got a generation of people who, for the longest time, we were worried about, that were like, oh, they're never going to leave their houses. They're just going to sit online with VR goggles on. And I actually think that's changing.
I do too.
My kids would rather be outside,
I mean, I think about it like my daughter's 11 years, and I have people ask me this about our print property all the time, is it's like our magazine is doing as well as it's ever done. Our circulation's higher than it's ever been. And I do think it's the fact that we cater to a super niche audience. We're not trying to, be a general motorsports magazine or a general car magazine. We're hyper focused on our niche within a niche within a niche. And I've got a lot of people in the publishing, friends that are in the publishing business, and their magazines are doing well because they're laser focused on one thing. But I will tell you that, like, my 11-year-old daughter, I mean, she's a gamer, she's into tech and all that stuff, but she collects vinyl records. Like, what's old is new again. You know what I mean? She wants to go to the record store every weekend and go buy CDs and vinyls. And I'm going, you would think 11-year-old that's inundated with all the tech that kids are inundated with these days would just want every song they like on their Spotify playlist. But she prefers to like make a whole to-do out of it and like light a candle, you know what I mean, or whatever, and go put a record on and make it a whole. But I mean, I think it speaks to that seeking an experience. And to me, like, what's old is new again. I really feel the novelty of staring at your phone all day has kind of worn off. And I feel like maybe that is contributing to our growing circulation with a print publication.
Oh yeah. Well, like you said, it's all cyclical. Like I was at my kid's school last night, and for a musical thing, and I was looking around at the kids on that stage, and half of the kids, the males, had a Flock of Seagulls haircut, and I was like, damn. And they're all copying each other. They think this is the newest, greatest thing they've ever seen. And I'm like, I remember that music video,
Yeah, 100%, man. No, it's an amazing thing, man. And I'm glad to kind of have a front row seat to the incredible stuff that's happening in the racing community right now. I do want to congratulate you again on, have you won your class in your drag and drive competition before, or is this a first?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I have. We won in 2019.
Okay.
We won 3 times this year, but smaller events. This one we just did at the Six Smokies since 2019 was the first bigger one we've won. And was probably the hardest, because that particular event, it sells out real quick. They let anyone with a gasser register first. So there were 50 gasser cars there. And so
50?
50. I didn't even know there were 50 in the country.
I didn't know there were 50 in the country. Yeah.
I did not either. And so that was probably one of the coolest things, is seeing all these guys and girls drive these late 60s appearing cars from NHRA, the heyday of the gas coupe class and sedan class. They all got in and they were all racing, and they had backup girls and they're doing dry hops, and it was wild, and it was so much fun. And so for once, I had more than 1 or 2 people to race in my class, which was cool.
No, that makes it all the juice all the more worth the squeeze, man. Well, we're happy for you, and we appreciate you spending some time. Thanks for taking care of our boy Jimmy Dale in Poland. We appreciate it a bunch, man. Seriously.
No
and
problem.
I hope we can get you down. You need to come down and hang out with us at Bradenton this winter. Come down to we would love to have you, man. You should come down and hang out, spend the weekend with us at the World Series of Pro Mod come February.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah. Let's talk. I'd love to.
Let's do it, buddy. Well, hey, thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and get those headers built.
Yes, sir.
All right, boss. We'll talk to you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Finnegan. Mike and JT, are you guys just you're gonna let me do that clap for Finnegan? That's it? Nope. I mean,
Yeah, I was waiting for
you
JT
got
to
a
hit the
fucking
horn
superstar
or
on
anything
here
else.
and just clap. What are we doing here? My goodness.
Hey, you missed the opportunity, man. You needed to send an invite for Little Gangsters right away to Finnegan.
That's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
We need to
There you
send
go.
an
Boom.
invite to Little
Yep.
Gangsters for Finnegan. Okay.
Yeah.
He can get him one of these.
Where you
bad
at?
boys,
Jimmy
you know?
Dale. Jimmy Dale's on it. I think Jimmy Dale and Poland are handling that department.
I've got
right?
Jimmy Dale and Poland handling Little Gangsters and True 10-5. We're gonna do True 10-5 at.
We're gonna need more room for parking.
Yeah, we're gonna need more room for parking. I'll
TTM's
tell you guys.
come bite them all.
I'll say this right here. This winter, the Drag Illustrated Winter Series by J&A Service at Bradenton Motorsports Park will represent the greatest collection of pro mod drivers and pro mod cars ever in the history of the world. I didn't think we would ever be able to top what we did in 2024 and 25. The three biggest pro mod races that have ever happened, the three quickest and fastest pro mod races that have ever happened, the closest qualified fields in the history of pro modified. I did not know if it would be possible to one up that, but I'm here to tell you that we're going to break all those records in 25 and 26. We are going to have car count records in 25 and 26. We have got the baddest men and women drag racing has ever seen converging on Bradenton Motorsports Park the first weekend in December, and it is going to be absolutely bananas. Dare I say it, we will redefine the term barn burner. We will redefine it, man.
No doubt. No doubt, man. It's the list we have coming together for Pro Mod for the Snowbirds is pretty incredible. Just really continuing the momentum from World Series, I think. You know, we're going to see probably right around that same number of cars that we had at World Series of Pro Mod.
Yes, every bit of that, and perhaps a touch more, because we have been blessed. I mean, we've got guys coming out of the woodwork. I think about Joey Martin, David Reese, these guys that went out and invested and built cars specifically to run the Winter Series. And for me,
there's so many. There's so many that have built cars, acquired cars, selling cars. And we got a few surprises also. So that's going to be exciting to reveal those over the coming weeks. But can we get Jim Halsey an invite? This man is waiting.
Him. I'm going to make him wait a little bit. We ain't seen that much out of him this year. I mean, we saw all we need to see at the Yellow Bullet Nationals, I suppose, when he put that 356 on the board.
Oh,
but
you know he's getting one. The way you guys...
I'm going to make Jim sweat a little bit more.
You know he's getting one. Jesus.
Are you saying I'm a nitrous
I think
homer?
I think Jim might be messing with us a little bit.
You think I'm a nitrous homer? Is it,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did go to great lengths to get as many of them in the field as possible. I can tell you, I rang some phones. We've been blessed with this deal. We have a lot of people come to us, and we've got a network of people that have been a part of this since day one that, you know, kind of makes some of it easy. But the nitrous cars, you know, I'm really proud of the group of nitrous cars that we're going to have. I think that we've got to fight this fight. It doesn't seem like it's going to be fought anywhere else. I believe Pro Modified is better when all the combinations are racing together. I think that I'm not going to say that it's the only thing, but it is one of the things. It's one ingredient that has created this lightning in a bottle moment that we have with Pro Modified right now. And I'm going to fight as long as humanly possible to keep nitrous cars in the mix. We have done everything we can. We spent several years trying to slow the other combinations down. We've kind of let them go a little bit now, the boosted combinations. We've got some of these nitrous guys that are, you know, ready to, you know, shave some weight off their cars and get after it. And I really feel like I wouldn't be at all surprised to see some nitrous cars in the money rounds when it comes time to talk turkey this winter.
Yeah, I think they're going to be more competitive than the general public thinks they're going to be. And we've, like you're saying, we got a crop of them that's willing to come down there and give it a shot, man. And I think, like you're saying, it's badass to see these combinations race against each other the way they do in other divisions. But when you go out there and see a nitrous car put a screw blower on the trailer or vice versa, that to me is the magic of Pro Mod. And I'm looking forward to seeing that.
You're looking for storylines. If you're in the event promotion business, if you're in the race promotion business, you're looking for storylines. You're looking for angles that you can play. And at times I feel like nitrous cars, centrifugal supercharged cars, screw blower cars, turbo cars, they allow people to camp up. They allow for people to start to click up and pick a class. If maybe they don't have a relationship with one of the drivers, but they like that car looks decidedly different, or they like that it shoots fire out the headers, or they like that it's got nitrous purges. It gives them something to latch onto. And for us, I think it allows us to create that black hat versus white hat, babyface versus heel, the favorite versus the underdog. I mean, you need all those stories, guys. But hey, we got our next guest of the day as we head toward the 4:00 hour here, Central Standard Time in good old Fort Worth, Texas. We've got our last guest of the day, last but not least, headed into what will undoubtedly be one of their biggest events of the 2025 season. Let's give it up for the one and only Chase Lautenbach. Clap, guys. I'm tired of being the only one clapping. Okay, clap.
What's up, guys?
Hey, clap.
How are you?
What's up?
Oh, yeah.
Chase
Man.
clapped for himself, man. What's
How are you
going
guys?
on, buddy?
Yeah, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I need to get a pro mod and spray a lot of nitrous. I mean, my
Yeah,
goodness.
you do, man.
You're
behind the curve here.
Yeah, I guess so, man. I'm sitting here. I'm like,
something else.
man, like pro mod, like I got to do that. And then like starts talking about nitrous. I was like, well, I like nitrous too. So here we go.
Hey, man, let's
Yeah.
sell one of those McLarens
Yeah,
or whatever, one of those twin turbo Lambos,
Yeah,
and
right,
get yourself
right.
a pro mod, man. Well, hey,
Right.
Streetcar Takeover rolling into Nashville Motor Speedway.
Yes,
I
sir.
talked about this at the beginning of the show. I love seeing drag racing events finding their way to these major motorsports venues like Nashville Motor Speedway. Can you give us a little bit of like insight of how that came together? I mean, you're racing on pit road or on one of the
Right.
straightaway. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we're racing on pit road this weekend. It was one of those ideas where we're sitting here, we're thinking, like where has enough room that we can throw a party, but at the same time make the racing exciting and make it feel good. And when Atlanta Dragway actually closed down, one of our biggest events that we had on our schedule was Atlanta. And it kind of broke our hearts. We lost one of the greatest tracks in the country. I think it was one of my favorite places to go to. And we wanted to try to find a way to get back to Atlanta. Like that's where Nashville actually came from, is from Atlanta. So we're sitting there, I'm watching YouTube at night. It's snowing outside. And I see these guys, they're testing, believe it or not, I know we were just joking about McLarens, but they were actually testing a McLaren, and they were at the Speedway in Atlanta. And they were like testing the cars, like I think 0 to 60 and braking and stuff on pit road at the NASCAR track. And I was like, well, they're going pretty fast right there. I was like, well, I know that our cars are way faster, but that might actually work. And so I called Atlanta Dragway and I was like, hey, can we race on pit road? They're like, oh yeah, we used to do that years and years and years ago. But COVID kind of shut us down. We haven't done it since. And I was like, well, I want it back. Let's bring it back. And we want to make it a festival, concerts, lights, truck show, burnout contest, the whole bit. We want to make it a party. And what better place to do that than inside of like a bowl, bring all your friends with you. And the coolest part about it, I think, is yes, drag racing on drag strips is awesome. We do it every weekend. It's awesome. It's great, but when you do it somewhere where it is legal, but it doesn't feel like you should be there, you get that same feeling that you're just like a dumb kid out on the streets with your friends again. And man, it's one of the best feelings ever. That's why we're excited to go there. It's a cool feeling. So we're excited.
Dude,
about
I
that.
love that because I think you make a good point. Like that to me, it was always the allure of street racing, right? Is there was something taboo about it, right?
Right.
And I do think that you capture a little bit of that when you take these things that's clearly out of place,
right?
And bring it into a venue like that that's used to seeing cars, everybody pitted in the middle and driving in circles for 4 hours or what have you. This is a whole new spin on it. So how did the 30,000 to win small tire? I mean, we've kind of seen Streetcar Bragging Right or Streetcar Takeover grow. I mean, you guys were on the cover of the magazine years ago.
Yeah.
We've had a front row seat to watching this thing evolve over time. And it started out as, a kind of a grudge night type of situation. Come out, run what you brung, cars, guys getting together. Like you said, a party at the racetrack. We saw it evolve into like real deal, meaningful competition where you'd have a variety of different classes and real deal purses for all these classes. But now we see you, throwing your hat into the ring with one of the biggest payout small tire races in the country. I mean, how did this do you feel like this is kind of the way streetcar takeover is headed toward these more hardcore type of situations?
I mean, yes and no, right? I think the coolest thing about Streetcar Takeover is that we are a place where an 18-year-old kid can still go buy, an F body off Facebook Marketplace, mod that car, bring it to the track, and actually put it in a class to where they can win a real payout with real trophies, with people in the stands, and they get that special feeling, right? But at the same time, we've been doing this now for 13 seasons. I mean, I can't believe it's been that long, but yeah, like we're going into our 13th year next year. So our guys that have started with those, garage built F bodies are still our boys, and they're still racing with us, but they just continue to get faster and faster and faster. And we see a lot of our guys that used to be, like our hardcore street racer class guys now getting into small tire. And it's kind of headed that direction, I think, not that we're ever going to lose sight of the kid that's building the F body or the Mustang or whatever, the Honda even, in their garage. But we want to make sure that we have a place for everybody to come race. So the cool thing about it is, we've been blessed enough to get a lot of big partners around us, that we can do these types of payouts for our guys and kind of put the streetcar guys on a main stage. We're going to be racing this weekend, like you said, small tire, 30 grand at a super speedway at a NASCAR track. I mean, it really doesn't get any cooler than that. And these are grassroots boys out here doing this. So that's what we love about it.
I think that bringing those worlds together, and you're right, you've got guys that their programs have evolved. They started out with a 10, 12, 13 second streetcar, and now they've got something that's running bottom fives in the 8th mile or whatever, and is basically a purpose-built drag car. You want to keep providing them a home, but like you said, not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? Keep recognizing your roots and where you came from. And that's, to me, is one of the most exciting things that's happening in our space today, is how many street strip enthusiasts exist. I mean, I come to your events and I'm blown away every time. Like, I didn't know this many twin turbo LS cars existed on the planet, let alone are all here today.
Right.
Do you ever are you ever shocked by the scale that this thing has taken?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's always the dream, right? But to see it come to fruition is a whole nother story. And it's been a wild ride, man. It's been a lot of fun. So.
And it's not just the performance on the track or the performance of the cars. You guys have a community, kind of a culture around this deal. You've got your dyno deal at Twin Peaks and the parking lot party there. Right. Just talk about some of that stuff that goes on leading up to the event or just surrounding the event as a whole.
Yeah, like I said, I think one of the coolest things about Streetcar Takeover is it's still a really grassroots feeling, So like this weekend in Nashville, we're going to be at Exotic Autosport. That's, just right outside of town. They work on and build a bunch of exotics, twin turbo Lambos. Podium is there too with all the big driving simulators. They share this big, I don't even know, it's probably a 15,000 square foot warehouse, right? Well, we're going to come in, and pun intended, we're going to take over their whole business complex. And there's going to be small tire cars out there. There's going to be twin turbo Lambos, Hondas, big lifted trucks. I mean, there's something for everybody, but we're going to do a night meet. All of our sponsors are going to be set up out there. We'll have food trucks, but it's just that cool feeling of getting with your boys. And, we're all going to be telling fishing stories, see how fast my car is. I did this, that, the other. We're doing this year, but then tomorrow on Saturday, they have to prove it. You know what I mean? I think that's the coolest part about SCT. We take what the boys like to go do, but we make it an event. And we put it on a stage. Right.
No, giving those guys a platform like this, I don't think it can't be overstated how important it is. And to bring those worlds together, do you ever, what's your take on, I remember reading a study in Jalopnik back, it's probably been in 2007 or 8, but it was talking about across the board, young people having less of a connection to their car than ever before. I think they did a study in 2000. I want to say it was 70% of people that they polled said that they had an above average relationship with their car. It meant more to them than a mode of transportation. And they saw that number dwindling. I feel and I don't know if it's Drive to Survive. I don't know if it's all this YouTube automotive content. I don't know if it feels like it's all of these things contributing, but I feel like car culture is alive and well right now.
Yeah,
Do you agree with that sentiment, Chase?
I agree with that 100%. Yeah. I think of an instance, it wasn't the Jalopnik thing, but a couple years ago, I was at one of the big major trade shows, SEMA, and some of their heads pulled me into a room and they were talking because they wanted our opinion on the younger generation and cars and stuff like that. And they go, "What do you think about this statement? We don't think young people are into cars." And I go, "I think you're wrong." And they go, "Why?" I was like, "Because we do it every single weekend and we pack out these major racetracks with these people." It's just, I think the problem is the people who are running those studies and the people who are running those types of shows and stuff, they're not doing a good enough job at reaching the younger generation. We're still here. We're still active. We love our cars. I don't think it's going anywhere. I really don't. But then you got, big YouTubers like Garrett, Weston, guys like Gabe Farrell. There's a bunch of YouTubers that are really shining a light once again on the grassroots stuff. And I don't think it's dead at all. I think it's just going to continue to skyrocket. We haven't seen a slowdown at all. So
I completely
it just takes
agree
a
with
different
you,
approach that we talked
Right.
about
Right.
with Richard Freeman. Just because it worked in the past, or what we called them graybeards, even though half of us here have graybeards ourselves, just because the drag racing or car culture has been presented a certain way up to this point doesn't mean it's going to work
Right.
for this new generation with technology,
Correct.
attention spans, social media, everything that's available to them. So I just think that it's exactly what you're saying. Streetcar Takeover packages this whole deal in a different way that reaches that audience.
Right. You just got to do it different.
Yeah.
We want to be loud. We want to be seen. And that's what Streetcar Takeover is. It's concerts. We're having light shows, burnout pits in a legal, safe way. We're doing a mega truck tug of war this weekend. But we still have stuff like our street racer class, small tire racing for 30 grand, car show, the whole bit. We just do it differently because we don't want to do it that way. You know what I mean? So we want to
feel
do
like
it our way, and it works.
You've got to be willing to, I think a lot of times going back to like those people in that room with you at SEMA, these comments like that or phrases like that, they're dependent on where you're taking the temperature, right? I
Right.
mean, it's just like cooking a steak. You know what I mean? If you throw that baby on the grill and you stick the thermometer right in dead center, it's not going to read as hot as it does out on those edges. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I think sometimes our sport is hottest on those edges. Like a lot of
Right.
the things that have been here for 60, 70 years and many decades and all this rich tradition, which is fantastic. It doesn't have
Right.
to be either or, but that is probably not a great representation, of what's actually happening in our space right now. I mean, I think that you could
Right.
look at, a multitude of even pro mod races in 2025 and go, "Oh man, is participation down?" Well, I'm here to tell you, I mean, we've got more cars and drivers than we know what to do with, so it's dependent on where you're taking the temperature. And a lot of it is who's doing it a little different, right?
Right.
Who's going about things a little bit different than they have always been done. I love Brian Loans in it. The voice of NHRA on Fox once said to me, and I don't think it's his quote, but he was just giving it to me. He said, the most dangerous words in the English language are because that's how we've always done it.
Right. I couldn't agree more, man. Right.
I love that sentiment because I think my favorite Eric Church song, I'm a break it kind of guy. I just am. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like there are things about our sport that are absolutely fantastic that should not be changed. But we're in an era of doing things different. Look at what Savannah Bananas have done for baseball.
Right.
I mean, they're doing it different. I mean, they've honored a lot of the traditions of baseball, but they've also not been afraid to say, hey, we're going to do this a little different. And I think that you guys are falling very much in line with that type of thinking, Chase, and I applaud it.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about 2026. Whenever I bumped into you and Sam and Logan and the squad down at the Motorplex last weekend or the weekend before, you were telling me big plans for 26, kind of swinging for the fences, getting a little, going aggressive on the scheduling, lots of events. I mean, what can you share with us about the future of Streetcar Takeover?
Yeah, man. So like I said, everything's awesome. Live and well, everything's good. We're going back to our old schedule. We've had our kids now. They're growing up a little bit. They're able to come on the road with us. I mean, shoot, man, I'm literally in an abandoned church parking lot in Tennessee right now, pulled over trying to make it to Nashville to do this. So like I'm sitting here in the parking lot. But the kids are getting a little bit older. We're going to get back on the road big time. We're going to go back to doing 20 events. We're going to add more of the NASCAR tracks, more roll racing, more burnout pits. more concerts, light shows, stuff like that. I think one of the biggest things, like you just kind of touched on, and Cooper said this, Cooper Brigetti. I was watching one of his videos a few months back, and he was talking about the Savannah Bananas. And I think one of the biggest problems with drag racing right now is like the racing's great, right? We've all been going in a straight line for forever, as fast as we can, and we can't get enough of it. We love it, right? But I think there needs to be more showmanship around the racing too. And that's what we're going to focus on, man, making heroes, making it a show, having rivalries, stuff like that. I think for the longest time, and this might be a hot take, but I'm going to freaking say it anyways, man. Drag racing, NASCAR, honestly, motorsports in general, in the last 15 years, guys have gotten soft, man. Now, some of my small tire guys, they're still pretty hot, all right? But I think in motorsports in general, but even in drag racing, there's not a lot of heroes. There's a lot of great drivers, there's a lot of good dudes, but there's no one that's like, you are the guy. You know what I mean? And I think that that's important. And I think that starts at where we're at, because, you never know, man. One of our guys could be racing in your Pro Mod series. One of our guys could go to Top Fuel. You know what I mean? It was kind of a crazy deal. We got to do a thing with the NHRA. We did like an exhibition class with them. I think it was 2 years ago at the Topeka National event. And we were there and we were talking to some of the racers. I'm not going to put any of them on blast. All right. But we were talking to some of the really, really well-known Top Fuel guys. And they were like, so who are you here with? And I told them Streetcar Takeover, and they're like, do you have a car here? And I was like, I do. And they were talking about, at the time, I had a white GTR that made like 1,800 horsepower, not slow, definitely still, a street car, ran 780s in the quarter, not slow for a car I could take my kids to school in. And
fast.
The guy he didn't even know what a GTR was. And like, he didn't know that street car racing was a thing. And it was just like, I was mind blown by it. I was like, man, we really are still like at the ground level. But like, these guys are car guys. They can be heroes and they can be there. But I just don't think that even a lot of the guys right now that are up at the top level of racing, I'm going to say, and I hope that they hear it, guys, we need you to show out, man. Like, drag racing needs that stuff. Everybody's been so soft for so long that like, where's the rivalries at? Where's everybody, that people love that stuff. And that's what's going to put more butts in the stands.
Not to bust in here, Chase, but that's a lot of what the DI Winter Series or the World Series of Pro Mod is about. Is maybe one of your drivers, hopping into Pro Mod, and he's a hell of a here, but it's bringing all this talent, into one race. And everybody's going against each other. It doesn't matter what.
We put a tremendous amount of effort into building those stars. Where it's like,
yes,
we're going to make Steve King a household name. We're going to make Lyle Barnett a household name. We're going to make Ken Cartuccio a household name. Like, we are going to get behind these guys and promote them but the problem oftentimes, and we're lucky that we've got a handful that are willing to play the part. But to have a hero, you have to have a villain, right? And so everybody wants to, and it's really true. And I see it every weekend at the NHR. I know if these guys would say what they actually think,
what they want to say,
if they would say what they want to say, but they put this pressure on themselves to go up there and say all the right things. And I mean, I feel like NASCAR's going through some struggles right now because they have a lot of guys that are kind of classic media trained people that know how to say all the cliches and know how to say all the one-liners that are perfectly safe and not going to hurt any feelings. But it's like, that's not what our sport was built on. This is a sport that was built on the backs of badasses and outlaws and do-it-yourselfers and gearheads and guys that weren't afraid to wear their heart on their shirt sleeve and say what they think. And I think drag racing has had this like ongoing identity crisis where we're always trying to be something we're not. Like, I've seen drag racing go through these eras where it's like, okay, we're going to tighten up the security on the starting line, and we're going to tighten this up, and we're going to do this a little different. We're going to be more prim, and polished here. And it's like, we're not NASCAR. And we're never going to be. We don't want to be. We're never going to be Formula One. We don't want to be. We need to lean in.
They've tried. I think they've tried. I think they've seen that they've tried to go down that path and seen that it doesn't work. And I think you're seeing a movement in drag racing, especially, but across all motorsports, like you're saying, Chase. I think everybody is becoming aware of this, that this is the part that we're missing. And you're starting to see a push. And I think you're going to see that at the highest levels even. We've talked to Brian Loans. We've talked to multiple people involved in the production at Fox and at NHRA's broadcast. I think everyone's realizing this and are starting to push that direction. I think you're going to see a lot of that, not only in what we're doing, what you're doing, but even at the highest levels. And you've even seen NASCAR kind of grasp onto it. You talked about Cletus earlier. They as soon as he made his debut over there and they stuck that microphone in his face,
Crushing
they really
numbers,
gravitated
brother.
toward
Crushing
that.
numbers,
So
right,
it's
right.
yeah, I think you're seeing this sort of group mentality or whatever. Everyone start to push in that same direction, and I think it's going to help
Right.
motorsports in general.
I think so too, man. I think it's so important. I really do. And like, just let the leash out just a little bit, let the leash out. Like, we want to see, the crew members on both sides yelling at each other after a race. We want to see guys jumping up and down and getting excited. We don't want to be walking off the starting line with our tie up to our neck. You know what I mean? We don't want to do that. We want to celebrate with our boys. Like, for the boys is one of the best things
you
ever.
have to have some of those though.
Right. Right.
You got to have some of those to contrast with what we're talking about. That's what made it work. I mean, you think back to like Earnhardt and Gordon, right? Jeff Gordon was that, prim, proper, not from the South. His car was rainbow colors, everything the opposite of what Earnhardt represented. And you got to pick your side. And unfortunately, everything's just gone like the way of the Jeff Gordon route, is how we've seen things go. We need guys to go back. We need some more. We need some more Dale for sure.
We need some more Dale, man. There's no doubt about it. Well, I think we appreciate all you're doing in the sport of drag racing, man. We're excited for you.
You too,
can't wait to watch this thing unfold. And if there's anything we can do, to let us know, and we'll do our level best for you. You be safe this weekend, man. Best of luck. Pack that place out and keep us posted. Appreciate you, Chase.
Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for having me on, man.
Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Later.
See you, Chase.
Chase Lautenbach, ladies and gentlemen. What's a hell of a show today, boys?
You got to give me a clap.
Oh, you're fine. JT's got it.
He said he didn't know how to leave.
I got you.
All right. Well, we've got
Alex. Look this. Alex Hayes sent us a package in the mail. Check
what
this
we got.
out.
Fan mail,
man.
It's fan mail Wednesday.
If it's from Alex, be careful opening that live on air. There's no
right? Yeah, it could be something dangerous. Sanders. Oh baby. Look at this shit.
Ooh, is that a World Series of Pro Mod Spirit chain?
Oh,
that's sick.
Nice.
Did he send more than one?
Yeah.
Well, that better get overnighted to me.
Yeah.
I need to
redistribute those.
Yeah, you got to redistribute those. Thank you, Alex Hayes. If anybody else wants to send us anything, just text JT, get the address.
You never have too many chains. I mean, you get
Let me get my
gangster chain on. Get this.
I don't have my little gangster chain. My little gangster chain's in my backpack. I need to get my little gangster chain on for
get a
next
pinky
Wednesday.
ring on.
Oh, I got that on.
Unbutton a few buttons. I'll be stuff.
Oh my goodness. Well, hey, thanks, Alex Hayes. I can't wait to get my hands on one of those things. I'm actually thinking about getting a 3D printer. I've been debating it for like 2 weeks now. I was talking to Joel Winsley.
I was talking to
Joel Winsley. Joel Winsley, one of our Pro Mod drivers at the Drag Illustrated Winter Series, buddy of mine. He has gotten big into these 3D printers, and he's got like 8 of them. But he told me it's addicting. He's like, once you start making,
what the hell am I?
Like you
think you start making shit for everything, right?
Yeah, he goes, it's intoxicating. I mean, he's making everything under the sun, but he's given me a little direction, and he's going to kind of point me in the right direction for a starter unit, because there's some tools that I want to make, some drag racing specific stuff that I want to make. That I've got.
We know you're not going to go starter unit. That's not your style.
No,
you're going to have one the size of your of a spare room in your house. We know that. Probably have to install a new circuit breaker.
Well, Max is going to college, so we're going to have an extra bedroom.
Off 220,
and I'm going to make it the 3D printing factory. And that may be what happens. I don't know. There's just a lot of cool shit that I think I could make if I had a 3D printer. Does anybody else got a 3D printer?
That's exactly what you need.
It's exactly what I need.
One of my son's friends has one, and he's coming up with. He makes stuff for my son, like little trinkets and toys and like fidget stuff. Like every week, he's like, "Here, I made this pretty cool stuff that he's able to make."
And he's Christian's age.
Yeah,
so he's 10.
Yeah.
Well, if he can do it, I can do it.
There's people.
Oh, absolutely.
There's people that make shit for like my golf simulator.
Yeah.
I mean, like every little trinket and thing that you could think of for golf simulators on them. I've thought about buying one for.
I wonder if I could 3D print one of those
they make
badass
parts.
driving simulators. I have a feeling. Here's what's about to happen.
Filament, or what do they call it?
This is what's going to happen. Richard's going to commit me to buying one of these things.
Oh, he's already done.
It's already
ready
done,
for you to call him,
right? And I'm about to get an invoice that I am not prepared for. Is what's about to happen.
I already talked Wes into
Hey,
one.
you need one of these.
I sold you one of these. I was just on a podcast, and I got the host of it to just buy one. So you just ship one.
I'm free because I've on. You know how many of these goddamn things I want to say?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, I'm serious, man.
I was hoping that what I need to have happen is that one sit there for about a year and collect dust, and then him go, hey Wes, come get this thing. That's what we're.
That's the right way to do it.
I was super surprised. I was super surprised that he could even turn the camera around when he went to show us. And then
that was impressive. I was impressed with Richard.
iPhone tracking, or was I having like an epileptic seizure?
I think the new phones do that automatically. They track your head.
Because I mean, I thought
really,
what kind of technology has Richard stumbled on? But yeah, Blake is confirming the iPhone.
He probably grabbed somebody from the shop to hold the phone.
Well, I didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean? And he must have the new iPhone because he took 2 calls or ignored 2 calls during the podcast thing, and it didn't kick him out of the broadcast.
And it didn't kick him. Yeah.
So, shout out to Apple, I guess.
Stepping it up.
First time in, I don't know, written history that I believe Mike Carpenter doesn't have the new iPhone, and he's actually holding out. He's going to hold out a generation.
That's how you know you're getting old, man. When you don't get the new phone. You just don't care that much anymore.
Like Apple One, where you just get one, regardless.
No, man, no.
I'm not.
I'm
you
old
are
now.
getting old, Mike.
Yeah, hell yeah. That is literally the first sign of extreme aging when you rock.
You don't have to have.
It is. It is because I used to be like you, and I skipping them, and you're catching up with me, and I've stayed the same age, so.
Yeah,
you've stayed the same. Yeah, you've actually gotten younger. I think. I mean,
I know.
Younger and younger parties. It would seem like, you know what I mean. You're going to fraternity.
My
parties,
friends. My friends definitely keep getting. Yep. They keep getting younger. Yep.
What a deal. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for joining us. And what a show. Huge shout out to Richard Freeman, Chase Lautenbach, of course, Mike Finnegan. Great conversations today. We'll see you guys next Wednesday right here on the Drag Illustrated YouTube channel. Today. Yeah, really good, man. I couldn't. I love when a plan comes together like that. We had the show planned last weekend. We were ahead of schedule on planning. We roll in here.
Oh, I don't know about that. We'll have to go back and look. That seems aggressive.
That seems it was Friday, which is better than normal. Yeah, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
What day did Finnegan win? I think it was Friday. We talked about having Finnegan on. We already knew Richard was going to be on, and Chase. I'm pretty proud of this. Well, Chase might have happened yesterday. I can't remember. Anyways, it all runs together.
Richard,
thank you guys. What do you say?
He said, what the fuck are you talking about?
Who said that?
Oh, it's too funny. No, I want one of those simulators though. I'm going to go play iRacing right now. Talk to you guys later. Eldora's calling my name. Talk to you in a bit. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next Wednesday right here on the Drag Illustrated YouTube channel.
Later.